Hello, marvelous Scorpios. Welcome to your May reading with me, Emma. I'm so happy to be here with you today. Um, I've been tuning into Scorpio energy. I've been sitting here simmering in it, and I'm going to bring through the messages that I felt whilst I was doing that. And then further into this reading, I'll pull 3 cards just to layer and texture the conversation. And towards the end, we'll also pull 1 card for a relationship. So when I was tuning into May energy around you, Scorpio, it's actually very grounded. And I feel like that's a good thing. I feel like there's an anchoring happening for you throughout May. And if I was being really honest, it kind of felt like not everybody has access to you in May, Scorpio. And you are not for everybody. The message I actually wrote down was holding your space. And again, in a moment of honesty here, I actually was wanting to find something to say to you that was slightly more dazzling and something more sparkly. And I was like, but that doesn't, it feels like holding the space, holding your space is the theme here, but perhaps taking that to new levels through May, really feeling into what it means to hold your space, hold your world, and discern where your energy goes throughout May. And I feel like this is taking on new colors, new shades, new hues for you. You, Scorpio, are always fantastic at discerning who you share yourself with. I mean, that's no secret to us. We know that you're fantastic at it, but it's taking on, like I say, a different color here, almost a different flavor. And it's coming from a different place inside of yourself. I feel like it may be that through May, you're really reducing your activities or who has access to you during this time so that you can actually direct your time, your energy, and your passion to that which is meaningful for you. And I feel like the things that you're actually turning away from your world, those are the things that are surprising in May. These are things that maybe in the past you would never have put a hand up to. These are things that you would have always devoted yourself to, always made time for, always put first, and your priorities are changing. What comes first in your life is changing. Who comes first in your life is changing. And it feels like it's almost like reducing everything back before stepping out. That's what it feels like to me. And I feel like you holding your space is because something has changed and now you have something precious that needs to be held. That something precious might be your heart. It might be a new career that you're really excited about. It might be a friendship or relationship. It might be that there's something in your world that needs to be held by you. And so it's being held by this energetic space you're creating, and you're kind of not willing to allow other things to impact it. And it does feel very heart connected. It does feel like what is important and special for you has changed, and now you're having to shuffle around your world in ways that you haven't done in years. Like I say, that it could be that these things always have priority, and now you're having to decide to do it differently, and just getting in the practice of what that feels like. That's what May is for you. May is you having a reshuffle, having a musical chairs, and putting something quite particular at the forefront for you so that you have everything you need to be able to focus on bringing this to fullness. It almost feels like we can't have you too scattered this month. And I don't doubt that you started to feel that through April, that you started to feel like there is something in your world that is starting to take precedent, starting to become very meaningful and important, but you've been spread across other areas and you have been able to manage it. I do believe that, but you've realized it's taken a lot of juggling. But your heart is naturally bringing you towards this one area again and again and again. And we are supporting you, we being me, spirit world, universe, life itself. There's a lot of support here for you to actually be able to give yourself to this thing in the way that you want to. And I feel like holding the space, although it sounds very simple, And it sounds very like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing in May. We're just holding the space. It's actually very deep, and it's very nourishing, and it's valuable, and it's important. And it's just by holding the space for this thing that you want, that which you want, that is actually going to change the tone and the themes for the rest of the year for you. This is one of those really surreal moments where you're doing something that appears quite simple, and yet it's probably going to be incredibly life transforming, because this is you devoting yourself to another way. But in order to be able to do that, you need to hold this space for it, holding your space for you, holding this space for the things you care about, and just easing into what it means for you to change priorities. And this is really big, because I feel like you don't have all the answers yet. You say, right, if I do shift around my life, these things, especially things that have been very stable and providing a lot of security, if I change those things, I'm going to lose a little bit of security. And this thing I'm prioritizing maybe doesn't have any promise of security yet. Maybe it's got to roll out over months before you feel very confident in it. But I feel like your heart knows that's what you want to do. You want to find out, you want to put into it, you want to invest, and you want to create it to fullness. And that is a bit nerve-wracking, because it's basically you surrendering the security that you've developed over quite some time for something that isn't presenting you with equal security right now. And that's a little bit unnerving. But I do believe what's happening for you in May is going to assure you that it's worth it. You know, there are sorry, I got my THs mixed up there. There is never any guarantee ever, right? We put ourselves towards our heart's calling, and we never really know what that is going to become of that. You know, I can't offer you guarantee, you know, like life can't offer you guarantee. But what we do know is that usually when we follow these heart's desires, these heart's paths, they somehow work out for us, you know, because we are the ones willing to discover what it can be. But more than that, we're willing to create it. We're willing to put in, we're willing to develop, we're willing to layer. And if we come into obstacles, we're willing to find other ways around. And I think, Scorpio, you're so good at doing that. You're so good at giving yourself to something that's meaningful and taking it the distance regardless of time. I think more than other signs, you can be fantastic at that. It's, for lack of a better term, it's a bit like a dog with a bone. Do you know, like that saying, like a dog with a bone? You know, you don't let go of things just because it gets wonky. You're willing to adjust and be flexible and move with the changes. And we know that people that are able to do that are much more likely to go the distance. You know, being adaptable is the evolution of humanity that we need. So, you know, you've got everything inside yourself to bring this to the direction you want and to the place you want. But it's trusting that even though you don't know what that path is yet, you know yourself well enough to know that you're capable of it. And I think that's what's kind of happening here. We're holding the space in a different way. We're holding space around what is meaningful. We're holding space around you. And it's a really big deal. It's a really big deal because it's an adjustment. You might feel it. You might feel it's an adjustment. You know, like when your body's going, oh, I can feel these changes are happening. I know I have to change my focus now. And this perhaps is completely unexpected. This was not a focus you expected to have. And so you're sort of throwing something that maybe you've put a lot of time and energy into and going, I'm swapping it. I'm swapping it for this because this is now calling for me. This is calling for me now. This, that I keep pulling up here, this thing, this is calling for you now. And okay, it wasn't part of the plan, but it is now part of you. And so now the plan's going to change. And the plan is going to move around because this is important to you. So this is, you know, I do feel like, you know, some big changes happened for you in the last month and definitely the last year. And this actually makes sense. It might be that the unexpectedness is the timing of it. I do believe this is something you've wanted and something you've known for some time was a desire of yours. Perhaps the timing is what's unexpected, that it's actually calling you now. It's happening now. And how, you know, you were ready to meet it when it arrived, but you didn't know it would arrive now. This is happening now. And so we're just working with you here to, you know, develop that confidence and that self-assuredness, and that devotion to know that, you know, you can change paths now. You can make this a, you know, the focus of your life in, and give it the focus that you want it to. I'm not saying it's the sole focus, but it's definitely going to have more focus from you, and that we're working on shuffling everything around to help you feel more at ease with that decision. And I think May will be presenting a lot of evidence that there is a lot happening here to encourage you in the direction that your heart is calling you. So that's really cool. I'm pulling 3 cards now just to layer that conversation and see if there's anything else to be aware of. We have got the 3 of Swords, the Sun, and the Hanged Man. Now, what I feel here with the 3 of Swords is, I mean, no panic. I know when we pull that up in a reading, people can get a bit edgy, but I'm an intuitive reader and not a card meaning reader. So when I look at that, I kind of just feel like, okay, there is some old wounding here. That's okay. It's old. You know, like, if you're not like 15 anymore, we've all got wounding. Welcome to the club. But the wounding you have is nothing that's necessarily going to hold you back. Okay, I'm just going to have a little sip of my coffee. You know, everybody's got it. Don't feel bad that you still have it. I think everybody I meet has something they're still carrying. So, you know, that's normal and natural. But that which you are uncertain of, you know, with these old woundings, okay, these things, oh, here we go. Those old stories of this happened to me before. I followed my heart's desire before. These things happened before. You know, I feel like that's natural to ask those questions, because that is your intuition protecting you from doing things the way you did it before. This is an encouragement to do things differently. You know, we cannot avoid heartbreak in our lives, but we have got more tools and an emotional maturity that allows us to know that we can navigate differently, that we can create differently. And so though whilst you're not impervious to feeling a little bit of you know, ups and downs every now and then, there is nothing here going forward that is the past repeating itself. It can be different now because you're different now. And it's okay to be self-protective. I think self-protection is reflective of readiness. So it helps you not to overinvest too quickly. It allows you to discern how much of yourself you want to share at a pace you feel ready for. And it allows you to move at a pace that allows for a natural trust to develop. Trust is not a light switch. You can't just flick it on and off and say, oh, okay, I trust this now or I don't. You know, trust comes with time. And I feel like your previous wounding that is maybe flagging up with memories right now, like, oh, I remember this, and it's maybe in your dreams or it's coming up in conversation. This is just your own signs of readiness. It doesn't mean you're not ready for this. You are ready for this, but ready is not just a I'm ready for all situation. You're ready for different things at different amounts, okay? And you're allowed to have that be a bit like this. You know, just because you're ready, say, for example, for a relationship, you might be ready for a relationship, really enjoying somebody. That doesn't mean that you're necessarily ready to get married tomorrow. Do you know, like, it's allowing for the readiness of today. And your old wounding and your old uncertainties that are coming up now, that is just your heart talking to you, saying, right, can we do this a bit differently this time? I don't want to hold us back. There's no holding us back. We're just going to do it differently. And what I actually feel is we're going to make it lighter and brighter. That's where we've got this sun. So it's not about allowing it to get too heavy. And anything that you feel is associated with the word serious. Let's not get too serious. Let's take this all very seriously. Devote yourself. Devotion is a very different vibration and very different feeling to taking something seriously. You know, devotion is coming from a heart place. It's caring about it, it's being excited about it, it's wanting it, it's enjoying it. It's almost making that thing a little bit sacred, because you know it's meaningful for you. And I feel like this time, this holding this space, it doesn't have to be hot and heavy. It can be warm and glowy and light and fun. And although you are having some wobbles, you are a bit unsure, you know, that uncertainty, because we're taking away certain areas of security and where you find security. We are shuffling that around a bit. It's really normal to feel a bit wonky, but what's great is you shouldn't be feeling wonky too long, because things are looking really good. Like, you might have a weird hour or even a weird day, and then boom, the universe gives you something really marvelous to pick your mood back up and keep you excited and keep you light and remind you to keep it light. And I feel like people in your world will be reminding you to keep it light. And there should be a lot of banter and togetherness and back and forth. And I think anything that feels like this, every time you feel like this, and feel a bit, we just want you to move towards things that feel like this. And that is the healing taking place. That is the difference happening. Doing it differently. It's saying, right, I'm not going to put too much energy into things that make me feel pinned down or stuck or sticky or pained or frustrated. I mean, you know, I could reel out so many words here. Anything that feels not good, anything that feels not good, you'll feel it in your body. You can just move towards that which does feel good. And when you're in this, you're going to forget this anyway, because you can only have one thought at once, right? You can only think one thought at once. So if you're engaged in something lovely, you won't have time to think about this. And before you know it, you're moving with life. You're having the living experience of something different. And that is doing that thing where we're developing trust through the experience of it, developing trust over time in the pathway you've chosen. So I feel like the more you give yourself to this wonderful, brilliant thing that you know you want to give yourself to, the more that thing is going to hold you and excite you and lift you up and give you what you need. And I feel like the reassurance comes from the living of it. You don't have to be in a place of trust immediately. Just keep engaging, because what you're engaging in is going to give you enough to feel good about it. And over time, you're going to feel that place, that confidence in it anyway. You know, you're going to feel confident, you're going to feel good, you're going to feel great, and you're going to want more and more and more, and you're going to realize this is working out for you. And that, let me say, May, everything is working out for you. For you, and you're going to have this brilliant, abundant energy around you where life is celebrating this decision you've made, and you should see it's rewarding you and uplifting you and fulfilling you. I mean, you've got a really lovely, fun, grounded, enjoyable May ahead. This feels really wonderful. And we've also got the Hanged Man. Now, for me, when I look at that, I kind of feel like I'm not even going to put that with these. Like, I'm going to bring it in as like a separate little additional Scorpio message, which is allow room for the unexpected. You know, last month that unexpected things maybe happened for you, or in recent months minimum, right? But I do feel it's quite possible the last month unexpected changes happened either within or without in your world. And I would suggest making time for the unexpected to take place this month. So maybe don't overbook your calendar, and allow for these paths to branch off in directions you haven't planned in the most wonderful of ways. In the same way that you are having lots of unexpected change of priority and desire and of heart's calling, I believe that will remain, okay? So that which you're feeling called to shall remain. You will continue to feel called towards it. But just allow space for the unexpected. Just allow it to be a lighter month, not too rigid. Allow space and time, because you know when our calendars are really full and we feel really busy and then something unexpected happens, it feels a lot harder. Do you know, like we go, oh my gosh, how am I going to incorporate this? Do I need to rearrange my calendar? Am I falling behind on stuff? And we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. And I think I had a really great example that I'd been talking to a beautiful, wonderful client of mine who had some challenging unexpected, but her week was so full that when this unexpected stuff happened, there was no space and time in her mind to process it. She had so much that had to then be dealt with, right, and reduced and sorted out and passed on to other people, just so that she could process this unexpected. And so going forward, it made sense for her to have more space in case the unexpected happens. And if it doesn't, she just gets to enjoy her free time. So, I think do allow for some unexpected this month. Do allow for your wants and desires to change. Do allow for your direction to change. Allow this unexpected to change you. Allow the unexpected, even the unexpected that's just happened, let it change you. Let it change you. I can't stop saying, let it change you. I feel like this is a great thing. What's happening to you in the form of unexpected is great. And I feel like it changing you is exactly what you need. This is kind of what you asked for. It's going to open you up. It's going to reconnect you. You're going to feel that sense of aliveness that you've been wanting to feel for some time. And I feel like the becoming of you is going to be spectacular through these unexpected events. And I feel like it's okay to go with the changes. Let them carry you, let them guide you, let them be the making of you. Because whilst there is some old wounding, everything is incredibly beautiful for you, Scorpio. And I do believe that through, as we travel through the summer months, so here in England, that would be, as we travel through May, June, July, August, I just think it's going to continue to get better and better and better. And I feel like this is what you've been needing. This is what you've been wanting. This is the beginning you've asked for. It is here and more is to come. So just allow it. Just allow it. Now, with that in mind, we'll just touch on a bit of romance. So that's if you're in union or if you are dating or if you're single. We'll just look at what sort of themes are around you for May. We have got the Seven of Swords, and I'm going to keep this really simple because, again, intuitive reader, not card meaning reader. When it is good and when it is great, don't focus too hard on the niggles. If what you're receiving is a lot of what you've asked for, if it is 98% what you asked for, don't lose yourself to the 2%. Not worth it. Your relationships are transforming. I think this year is incredibly transformative for a relationship. I think it's going to places you've never been before. So even if you're in union, your relationship is moving into directions that you guys have never been. If you're single and or dating, you're about to move into life experiences that you have never had. This is going to places you've never been, and it is ticking most of the boxes. But perhaps don't hold your other to their 2%. It's in the same way that you wouldn't want someone to hold you to that either. I think you are 98% incredible. You are 98% incredible. And if you're connecting with somebody and you have a wobbly couple of days or a little, you make a little remark on one day and it's taken the wrong way, or you're a bit hormonal or hungry or tired and you're being judged on that 2%, you would feel really shortchanged. You would feel like, oh, well, that's not very fair. Like if somebody sort of formed these massive judgments on your 2%. You wouldn't enjoy that. And I feel like with this card, we're saying, try not to judge your relationships on the 2%. People are not perfect. We all have ups and downs, and relationships and our connection with other people are incredibly mood dependent. And I feel like your other is bringing so much to the table that is glorious. And it's okay that you're a bit mistrusting. I mean, we had the Three of Swords there. We're a little bit uncertain. We're not sure we can trust. That's fine. Trust comes with time. But do know that I believe you're getting the opportunity here to engage in some really magical, brilliant experiences this month. And it's just a practice to let go of taking this 2% and blowing it up bigger than it is. And really focusing on the 98 and how brilliant it is and how enjoyable and how much togetherness you're getting and how much you're being met on a level and how fantastic it is. And even if this person's coming in, even if you're single and you're waiting for this person to arrive, I do believe that May is bringing you the opportunity to do it differently. You know, trust that heart stuff. All the stuff I just talked about, you know, all of that, you can apply it to relationship. Watch it back if you want, reapply and say, if this was in the context of relationship, it still applies. And I think, yes, you can take time to move at your own readiness. That's fine. That's great. It's encouraged, because it will help soften down those suspicions and give you more empowerment that you're choosing your way. But do look at what's great. I mean, if we're looking, this dude's got so many swords. He's got so many, there's so much greatness going on here. Get into that practice of letting some of the little things go in order to really connect in with how fantastic the great things are. If the great things are great, if the meaningfuls are great, if the togetherness is great, if you feel great when you're with them and talking to them, and then don't analyze the 2% when you're not together. You don't need to do that on this occasion. You are free to enjoy the experience and allow it to change you. You are changing each other this month in relationship. I feel that. I feel like you're changing each other, that you are becoming unexpected unto yourselves this month, Scorpio, but you're doing that to them as well. And you're becoming somebody that you've never been before through the experience of one another. And I feel like that's a little unsettling, like, oh my gosh, what's happening to me? But that's what great relationships do. Great relationships come in, especially great connections and togetherness. And when it's good, it comes in and it changes you forever. Let it. Let yourself be changed by the greatness of your relationship. In the past, you know, you've been changed by the challenges of relationship and you felt changed by that. You felt the walls go up and the pain come in and the heartbreak happen, and you felt yourself be changed by relationships disappointments. What would it mean for you, Scorpio, if you allowed yourself to be changed by the greatness of your relationships? That's incredible. We'll find out. Let's see what May brings. So, big month, holding that space and allowing yourself to be changed by the unexpected. I might actually put that as the title of this video, because I actually feel like that's fun, isn't it? Allowing ourselves to be changed by the unexpected. I love that. That's incredible. Oh, sorry, I thought that was on silent. I'll do that now. If you want to talk to me, you are welcome to book in for one-to-ones. You can do that through my website. You can also join me on Patreon. It's my new blossoming community. Please come and join me there. I would love to have you. I'm doing daily readings, a weekly conversational video, as well as a connective tool video for the week. So I'm having a lot of fun. Come and play with me. And if not, I will see you next month for the June readings. Happy May, Scorpio. See you later.